So friends, Special Counsel Jack Smith just filed his opposition to Donald Trump's request that the courts grant him absolute immunity against prosecution for his crimes. Donald Trump's request that the courts put him above the law. Let's talk about Jack Smith's opposition to Donald Trump's request, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, as you undoubtedly know, Donald Trump has asked the courts to put him above the law, beyond the reach of the law. In essence, to make him a king, someone who can never be prosecuted for crimes he commits while in office. And Jack Smith has a little something to say about that. But before we turn to Jack Smith's newly filed opposition to Donald Trump's Make Me a King motion, if you'll indulge me just 30 seconds of housekeeping. As you may know, here at Justice Matters, we are an all-volunteer operation. We're up and running 7 days a week, posting a legal analysis video every day, and we couldn't do it without your support. So if you're interested in more formally supporting our all-volunteer efforts, our mission, our content, please feel free to come on over to patreon.com. You can sign up to become a patron, and if you do, I will send you some Team Justice and Justice Matters stickers and a personal handwritten note of thanks. And thank you to the many of you who have come over to patreon.com and are supporting our efforts. We could not do it without you. Okay, back to today's topic. Donald Trump has asked the courts to put him above the law, put him beyond the reach of our nation's criminal statutes. In a very real sense, Donald Trump has asked the courts to give him permission, give him license to commit any and all crimes he damn well pleases while in office, with complete immunity against prosecution. Well, Jack Smith just filed his opposition to that Trump request, and in substance, Special Counsel Jack Smith has said, "Oh, hell no." I'm paraphrasing there. But as always, let's start with the new reporting. This from CBS News. Headline: Special Counsel Jack Smith urges appeals court to reject Trump's claim of presidential immunity. And that article begins, Special Counsel Jack Smith pressed his case that former President Donald Trump does not enjoy the protections of presidential immunity in the 2020 election conspiracy criminal case in an 82-page court document filed Saturday afternoon in D.C.'s Federal Court of Appeals. Smith's latest filing comes ahead of scheduled oral arguments on the matter at the Appeals Court for the D.C. Circuit on January 9, 2024. U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, who is presiding over the case, ruled Trump cannot be shielded from federal prosecution for crimes allegedly committed while he was in the White House. In his Saturday filing, Smith said, immunity from criminal prosecution would be particularly dangerous where, as here, the former president is alleged to have engaged in criminal conduct aimed at overturning the results of a presidential election. He, Smith, also warned that presidential immunity could shield a president who takes bribes or a president who instructs the FBI director to plant incriminating evidence on a political enemy, a president who orders the National Guard to murder his most prominent critics. Smith's filing also argued the nation would have no recourse to deter a president from inciting his supporters during a State of the Union address to kill opposing lawmakers, thereby hamstringing any impeachment proceeding to ensure that he remains in office unlawfully. And friends, those scenarios that Jack Smith goes through there, those very real possibilities, if a president is made king, if a president is put above the law, beyond the reach of our nation's criminal statutes, we call that a parade of horribles. And it's a parade of horribles that Donald Trump is trying his damnedest to make a reality. Well, now, let's go from the new reporting to the opening salvo in Jack Smith's new court filing, his opposition to Donald Trump's motion. Introduction. For the first time in our nation's history, a grand jury has charged a former president with committing crimes while in office to overturn an election that he lost. In response, the defendant, Donald Trump, claims that to protect the institution of the presidency, he must be cloaked with absolute immunity from criminal prosecution, that is, unless the House impeached and the Senate convicted him for the same conduct. He is wrong. Separation of powers principles, constitutional text, history, and precedent all make clear that a former president may be prosecuted for criminal acts he committed while in office, including, most critically here, illegal acts to remain in power despite losing an election. The presidency plays a vital role in our constitutional system, but so does the principle of accountability for criminal acts, particularly those that strike at the heart of the democratic process. Rather than vindicating our constitutional framework, the defendant's, Trump's, sweeping immunity claim threatens to license presidents to commit crimes to remain in office. The founders did not intend and would never have countenanced such a result. You know, friends, the question in this litigation is really a simple one. In the office of the presidency, do we want lawlessness or do we want accountability? Donald Trump's ask of the courts is for lawlessness. Being permitted, being given permission, being licensed by the court to commit any and all crimes he wants to retain power. Well, that's not the stuff of democracy. That's the stuff of dictatorship. And Donald Trump has told us repeatedly now that he will be a dictator on day one. Well, you know what? We're not going to let that happen. Jack Smith and his team of prosecutors will not let that happen. Judge Tanya Chutkan will not let that happen. The D.C. Federal Circuit Court of Appeals will not let that happen, and I don't believe for a minute that the United States Supreme Court will let that happen. We will not let that happen. You know, 2023 was the year of the Trump indictments. 2024 will be the year of the Trump convictions. Because justice matters. Happy New Year, friends. Please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all next year, tomorrow.